take you through the events of the call yesterday and kind of let you know what happened and the time frames that we were dealing with. We received a call to our communications center by 911 at 17:08 yesterday afternoon. That's 5:08 p.m. We received the call requesting assistance to a structure fire at 1145 East Burdeshaw Street. The initial reports to the communications center was that flames were visible, unknown if the residence was still occupied, but they knew there was someone living in the home. Our units were dispatched at 5:09. Important there, the communications center took a mere 35 seconds to receive the call, verify the information, and get units en route. A critical step in our call processing and response is the dispatchers that receive those 911 calls prioritize and get the right units on the way. Of course, our standard complement of 3 engine companies, a ladder truck, a battalion chief, and an ambulance were dispatched to the call and arrived on scene in just 2 minutes from the time they left the fire station. So very, very quick response time. That's in about the average of what we do throughout the city. We maintain a response time under 5 minutes, and again, in this case, 2 minutes to arrive on scene. From the time they marked on scene, they have water on the fire, which means they were actively spraying water on the fire and beginning the extinguishment in 2 minutes. And then 20 seconds later, they located the victim in the fire and had her removed from the home. What we would describe as a room and contents fire. Not a big fire that was contained to the area of origin, and had the fire completely under control in 10 minutes from the time they arrived on scene. And again, the victim has been identified as 91-year-old Miss Connie Hollis, who lived at 1145 East Burdeshaw Street. Regarding the events that are surrounding how the fire started, the area of origin, I'd like to ask our Fire Marshal, Chief Danny Applin, to come forward and tell us what they found through the investigation.
Good afternoon, everyone. Yesterday, just a few minutes after the fire started, we had a couple of investigators on the scene, and we start our investigation as soon as we get there talking to folks. It became quickly obvious once we got in the house there was not as much damage as we normally see in a fatal house fire, but the obvious damage was near a small natural gas powered space heater. Focus of our investigation came to that point to find out what had happened at that heater to cause the fire. Miss Hollis's body was found a few feet away from the heater. She had a small amount of burning to her body. Did not indicate that she was involved in the fire. Maybe some surrounding fire had gotten to her. Our initial investigation led us to believe that she placed a personal object near the heater once she got home. Took the object a few hours to get hot enough to cause a fire. We believe she was sitting in a chair relaxing when she noticed the fire. As she stood up, our initial autopsy results showed that she did inhale some superheated gas and smoke. So we believe at her age she was very frail. She succumbed to the fire pretty quickly and fell down. At that point, our units were on scene and put the fire out. It only burned a few minutes, but it got enough superheated gas and smoke to overtake her when she stood up.
Again, thanks everybody for coming. This is very important, and you know that anytime we have a tragedy of this magnitude in our city, whether it be a loss of life or it be which is the worst, of course, or a large fire event that we have in our city, that we communicate with our public and let them know, number one, and all this first goes out to all of Miss Hollis's family. We're so sorry for what happened here. It's a tragic event, and I know they're hurting today, and our prayers are going out to them from the Dothan Fire Department, and we're trying to continue to do everything we can to assist the family. So that's first. Second is that, you know, when we have issues like this, it is vital that we take the opportunity to also discuss fire safety issues with our public. Our goal is to minimize damage to property and, of course, life through good fire safety education and programs. So the fire department, Dothan Fire Department, works very hard to continue to do that each and every day out here in our community. So I take it personal when something like this happens. I want everybody to know that when this occurs, it is an accidental death, and it has a lot to do with behaviors, and we have to continue to work to change the behaviors to a positive so that we're continuing to have the safest home environment we can for our families. And that's my goal here as your fire chief, is to continue to strive to have programs that really make a difference in making us safe at home and where we play and where we live.